Alright, since my last video, I did some research and I got the manual linkage for the governor here adjusted about where it should be. I have the 2 batteries that I got. I didn't get all my cable fittings that I need in, so I kind of using jumper cables with one that I had. Put the new fuel filter in. No more leaks off that. I just took a regular outlet, wired it in really quick, and I have a roughly, I think they'll put out a little bit more than this, but a 1500 watt heat gun that has a low setting that's 700 watts and a blow dryer, which I think is like 1000 watts and then 1700 watts. So I'm gonna start it up here and see what it does. I have the inverter in 240 mode, but I have it wired for 110. And you could see when I start it, you'll see the voltage come up the way that it should. Fuel gauge doesn't work, but that's not a big deal. Let it prime for a second here. .240 volts comes up. There's no load on it. I need to get a light bulb. That's kind of important for the circuit interrupter. On these machines, when you start them, the low oil light pressure is always on. Sometimes it'll get stuck. Don't have that problem with this one, which is great. So these are both. These are off right now. Close the circuit so it's energized. And what should happen is you'll see the load apply on the meter, and then the engine should slowly ramp up. And you're probably going to start seeing a lot of soot come out of the exhaust too, because this thing hasn't run under load for a very long time. Going up to the next one. Now look, you can already see the exhaust being put out. Go up on high. High on the blow dryer. Oh yeah, look at that smoke coming out. And the engine's already wrapped up. Which is good. Stay watching the governor. What I'm going to do is take the loads off and you're going to see it change. I put one big heavy load on it, everything on down. What it's supposed to do is that magnet is supposed to pull that in. Look, you can see all the crap burning off on the muffler there. So it's been a long time since this ran. But this, when you kill it, that's supposed to pull all the way in. And that's supposed to cut fuel off, you know, per the linkage here. So inside the control panel here, the screws are a little messed up here. To watch that, make sure it's not a fire, like a leaf or something. But anyway, this is your controller, and everything I've done research on this is the weak point. There's someone who makes an aftermarket one. They sell it for like $170 that doesn't need to be manually adjusted, because you can see you have your stability, your gain, your boost, potentiometers in here. And there's a procedure for slowly adjusting it. It's super time consuming and annoying. I'm hoping I'll be able to make just one really quick adjustment to it and it's going to be good to go. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is just replace this, because for the $170, knowing that's a weak point anyway. The reason why this is weak is the military, to help with EMP proofness, is this is all analog. The one that the guy made is digital, so automatically does all the adjustments for you and it figures it out. So it may just be as simple as me needing to turn up my gain on the magnet to make sure that it works. But I'm going to stop this for now and I'll come back after I make some adjustments. I forgot to add, I did replace the DC breaker as well. If you're interested in any of the parts and stuff that I'm using, I'll make a little clip to add in this at the end, the part numbers and what I use. I was sitting here messing with the governor linkage and reading, and I started it. And from my last video, I saw it spark from the starter. Freaking bolt's missing on the starter. So that's why it was sparking. All right, got a bolt on the starter there. It's 9/16. I don't know about the thread pitch. It took me about trying 6 bolts that I had in my little storage. So I messed with the controller inside a little bit using the procedure in the TM and had no luck. I didn't want to go crazy with it, but then I came over here and looked and my governor bolt was removed. Didn't know it, but apparently with this little wire in here, it's affixed from the factory to not be moved. So I thought I had just moved the manual throttle, because if this engine wasn't in here, it comes with one of two things. It comes with this little fixed lever or this little adjustable throttle, and you can loosen it. I got it real tight right now, but see, you can move it all the way up to stop, or you move it all the way down to start, which is full. But as you can see, now that I set the governor, it doesn't quite go all the way up, because I believe the max RPM on these engines is 3,800 RPM. The max RPM that this runs at for the inverter is like 3,500 RPM. So one of the guys on the Steel Soldiers forum gave me a measurement. This is still dripping, I noticed a little bit. I don't know if I didn't tighten enough at the top. It's leaking at the bottom. Anyway, I just put some rags in there to catch the drip. So I hooked everything back up, and now I'm gonna see if it will start and stop, and then make sure that it'll ramp up still properly. And as I'm starting it, I'll kind of hold this over here to look. Apply the load now. All right, so it'll shut off now. I don't know if you hear me talking over the engine running, but this lifted way out when it went up on load. I'm gonna troubleshoot that and then I'll splice in some more. All right, I think I finally got it tuned in right. I'm very lucky and my controller works good. I'm gonna say that, but anyway. So here, I'm gonna show you how everything should work start to finish. I have those already turned on to their max setting. So run, start. Full load. Move steady increase. Notice it's not coming out. Well, it is very so slightly. I don't think that's bad. These are running. You can see, well, it's showing more like 2.5. That's pretty darn close to the 3,000 watt load. Now, if I open it, slowly comes down. And it'll shut off. So now my next real test is to just do an extended load test on this to make sure that as things heat up, that the actuator and whatnot is okay. Once I confirm that all that stuff's okay, I will button everything up, really snug down on these bolts and stuff like that. But I don't really want to do an extended load test with having these jumper cables and stuff around. But I also still got this little bit of a fuel leak to leak over here. I'll report back on that with my next video. But I'm pretty happy here. I was able to adjust it. My controller is good. I'm putting out good power. Fuel gauge needs to be fixed. I mean, you don't have to have that, but it would be nice. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. And the next video that I make is going to be pretty much with everything 100%, and after it'll be about my load test. All right, in case you were wondering what parts I used, this is the breaker, Tyco Electronics. Part number is Whiskey 23-X-ray 1 Alpha 1 Golf -7.5. Fuel filter. Keep in mind this is just the filter. The filter comes with the 2 gaskets. This doesn't include the plastic bowl at the bottom. I decided to go with Wix because it comes from O'Reilly's 33583. The 2 batteries that I put in there, made by Autocraft. Model T16L, and you need 2 of them.